From Bakersfield to the corners of Kern County, the best moments from your Golden Empire gridirons. 17 Sports Director Taylor Shaw, football analyst, Renegade head coach R. Todd Littlejohn. This is FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition. Driven by Sangera Subaru and Dignity Health, Mercy and Memorial Hospitals.
Well, welcome into Week 6 Sunday Expanded Edition of FFX. I'm 17's Chris Burton in for Taylor Schaub tonight, but we do have one familiar face in studio. The man sitting beside me, R. Todd Littlejohn, the leader of your BC Renegades. We've got a great show for you tonight. Let's get right to the action. Coach, I'm going to ask you, what's the line?
It's time to give the people what they want.
That's right.
Gather round. It's time for your FFX Game of the Week, powered by SCOE, your Southern California Orthopedic Institute.
Well, we begin, as always, with our Game of the Week, and after starting non-league play against the top-ranked quarterback in the state, Paul Gola's Garces Rams decided to finish off what can only be described as a 5-game gauntlet against a San Diego powerhouse led by the #1 running back in California. Well, Coach, take a look at Roderick Robinson, UCLA commit. He is a beast. We're going to be saying his name a lot today.
Yes, he is, and we will be.
Scoreless in the first. Hornets sting first. KJ Chatham finding Robinson on a little screen pass. Makes a man miss, and he does the rest. Coach, just so tough to go up against that level of physicality as a high schooler.
Excellent job in the open field. He shows his power, shows his speed, and this is what you're going to be playing against at the 4-year level, these types of players.
Yeah, I mean, he's making men miss all over the field, and we're going to keep it in the second for you as the Hornets strike again. Chatham going back deep, hooking up with Josiah Cox there, makes a man miss, 87 yards to the house. This is all Lincoln right now, 21-0.
Another excellent player who's got a lot of offers by 4-year schools.
We're taking a good look at some future talent here on Lincoln. Robinson on the run again, and he just says, no, you know what, you're not going to tackle me today.
No doubt. Again, just showing his ability in the open field. Wow, what a good player.
He is a talent, and the Rams would score on the back of Jordan Gallegos calling his own number, but the final score was all Lincoln, 42-16.
At the end of the day, you can't start 1st and 20. I mean, the penalties killed us, just killed us. Just the quick offsides, jump starts, things that we have to clean up if we want to be at that next level. And then defensively, we just came out lights out, and then just made a couple mistakes. And you can't make a couple mistakes against guys the best running back in the state, and then a wide receiver that has 11 national offers. So it's tough.
You can't make mistakes against Roderick Robinson, Coach, and here's why. 12 carries for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had the 1 receiving touchdown on the night. So another prolific night for this kid.
Absolutely, adding to his production.
Absolutely. Well, Liberty never one to back down from a challenge, taking on a state-ranked team from San Diego. Brian Nixon's boys facing a Carlsbad squad filled with D1 talent. We'll take it to the first. 5-star quarterback Julian Sang hits Michigan commit Zach Marshall. That's an 11-yard touchdown.
Big play by those two, and obviously you are able to see why these young men are so highly touted as well.
Carlsbad running roughshod on Liberty all night. That is Justin Johnson on the touchdown, and that would make it 17-0 Lancers still in the second. Little bit of trickery from Carlsbad, not that they needed it, but Marshall the double pass to Johnston, and he makes it 24-0. Coach, what do you think about this kind of trickery in high school?
Well, it just goes to show how many weapons that you have on offense.
And those weapons would put Carlsbad in the driver's seat all night, 27-0. Well, Friday night, Albert Pujols was the talk of the sports world. He joined the 700 home run club. 2 blasts against the boys in blue. But, Coach, we're talking football here on this show. And closer to home, the area powerhouse became the first program in state history to join the 800 win club. Coach, I know you're very familiar with this, guys.
My drillers, my drillers.
Well, it's only fitting that the winningest team in state history was hosting old rival Edison. We'll take it to the second. Edison up 7, looking for more. John Eubanks from the red zone to the end zone. It's a 2-yard touchdown, give the Tigers the lead, 14-0. But Bakersfield responded. They responded all night. This is Ty Montero to Bryson Campos.
And an excellent job in responding. Those guys right there starting to utilize their weapons and starting to make plays, and it was good to see that.
That 800 win number definitely sitting a little heavy on these guys, but the execution is there. This is Harvey Rogers, Tybo's younger brother. He takes it in for the end zone. And Coach, these guys are performing admirably under all that pressure.
Absolutely, and I would imagine that their parents and grandparents and everyone else probably reminded them of what was at stake, but really proud to see that they played together, they played as a team, and they played for, the entire game.
They did, and they would get number 800, taking this one 38-20. So let's take a look at Ty Montero's final stat line. Senior had his hand in all of BHS's scores. He had 132 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and rushed for 56 yards and the 2 touchdowns as well.
Early on in the year, we were battling some adversity, dropping our heads, and this game, adversity hit us, and we battled all the way through. I'm very proud of it. It just speaks to the tradition at Bakersfield High School. There's lots there, and I'm still learning about it, and our team is still learning about it.
BCHS coming off a much-needed bye and looking to right the ship at Tulare Western. Eagles offense soaring in the first. Bryson Waterman laying down his shoulder, barreling his way into the end zone. Coach, I know you like to see those hits.
Absolutely. That shows some toughness right there at the goal line.
Mustangs counter here. Carmine Fincher finds Danny Azevedo. Good for 6. Tulare Western cutting the lead to 1, but BCHS, they're not backing down. Jordan Delgado fires a dart to Jacob Gutierrez. Snagging the corner of the end zone puts the Eagles up 8, and Eagles pouring it on later. Delgado, he finds Bryson Waterman. Where is he? He'll find him.
Right there.
Back in the end zone.
Absolutely.
Waterman makes a great catch. Waterman, no stranger to show here.
Not at all.
Well, BCHS would hold off a second-half Mustangs comeback. Eagles win 28-25. So a lot of programs getting back on track, Coach, right, and some trying to get back on track as they play the last week into league play.
Right. It's something that's so needed right now. You want to be playing well going into to conference, and as we all know, you got to play well to get in conference to be able to go to those playoffs.
Well, it's all about the momentum and building that momentum so
yes,
you find those conference foods right where you want them. Well, still to come here, the Bears and Vikings pay tribute to a Hall of Famer. We visit the life and times of the late Dallas Grider next on FFX.
You're watching FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition, powered by Sangera Subaru, serving Kern County for over 50 years. You're watching FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition, powered by Dignity Health. Hello, human kindness.
Welcome back to FFX. Thursday night, West High School immortalized former head coach and Bob Elias Hall of Famer Dallas Grider. Now, Grider passed away in May at the age of 77, a former standout player at Arvin High and UCLA, and a prolific leader on the sidelines. His impact on our collective athletic community was incalculable, Coach. I know you had a chance to get to know Coach Grider quite a bit, and he left a lasting legacy at BC as well.
Yes, he did. I was able to play for Coach Grider at Bakersfield College, and then I was able to coach with him. And so he had such a tremendous impact on me. It's funny because he would tease me about our BHS West High days, and he got me on the one the senior year. But just such great respect that was garnered with him. He gave me a lot of great wisdom in that was the early part of my coaching career. And just to see the impact that he's made over the years, and obviously in the community, has been phenomenal. Mm-hmm.
And he has left a legacy on Bakersfield College to date. I know in talking with a lot of your assistant coaches that a lot of them are familiar with Coach Grider and his legacy as well.
Absolutely. They were he and their staff was such a staple of consistency and productivity, and they just gave you words of encouragement and wisdom that has obviously carried on for life for me, as well as all the other teammates that I played with.
Mm-hmm. And a great honor in this game, Arvin versus West. West naming their field after him prior to the game on the same night when his alma mater was coming to town. And after the ceremony, it was time to get the job done, as Coach Grider would say.
Yes, it is. He would say that.
Code first quarter, West in the red zone after a long drive. That's Jack Parks. He takes it himself. Goes up the gut 7-0. But Arvin striking back immediately. Omar Pardo, a missile to Jack Casinger.
Big play right there. Shows some great speed as well after he caught the ball. And this is going to be a tough one back and forth.
It was back and forth. We'll keep it in the first quarter for you. Bears with another big play. Christopher Carlos fools the Vikings defense and our photographer very briefly, making a
Right.
beeline for the end zone, 72 yards.
Anytime that you can get some productivity in that ground game, boy, it really helps the pass as well.
This is Pardo again finding Joaquin Carici, who does the rest. That is a 44-yard touchdown. Bears up 21-7, but Arvin hangs on, takes it 42-20.
You know, I played for Coach Greider and for Coach Dameron at Bakersfield College, and I have nothing but respect for the West High program. And, you know, those guys have Arvin roots as well, and there's just a lot of tradition from Arvin High School that have gone on to show us how, you know, to really run a quality program. So I love all these guys, and I was excited to be a part of it.
Well, we had plenty more action this week. 17 Sports Director Taylor Schaub switching roles with me. He's going to take you around the county.
After starting 0-5 for the first time since 2002, Tehachapi was back looking to make sure they started league play undefeated. Taking on Golden West, they got off to a hot start. First play from scrimmage, A.J. Anderson reaches the outside and he has gone up the sideline. 54 yards on the score. Warriors up 7-0. Golden West, though, wasn't phased. The Trailblazers strung together a 70-yard drive, capped off by this plunge from Ricky Elias. And Golden West would get hot late and never look back. Blazers take it 34-13. Gerald Perucci's Generals hosting Taft, trying to rebound from a 1-point loss. Shafter strikes first. Who else but Koa Rhodes, a man on a mission. He came in with 9 touchdowns, adds another on this 50-yard mad dash. Wildcats respond. Cyrus Gaylord takes it from the red zone to the end zone. Look at that willpower. Fights his way in for 6. Taft beats Shafter 29-28. In the battle of the Bulldogs and Tigers, it was the Isaiah Juarez show. He was the Swiss Army knife for the Tigers Friday night, rushing for more than 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, not to mention 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a defensive score. Second quarter up 24-0, David Manzo airs it to Eli Vasquez. 30-zip Tigers, and they take it 45-14. Blades battled to the bitter end against LaSalle, tied 14 all in the second. Lorenzo Patino bulldozes his way in to give East a 7-point lead. But LaSalle would rally and win 35-28. In the battle between the Wolfpack and Stars, Ridgeview's Zamir Hall shined brightest. The senior rushed for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Wolfpack took it 44-14. We had a couple of shutouts in Delano. Julian Orozco and Geraldo Salazar connected for 3 touchdowns as Kennedy's defense held the Tigers scoreless 21-zip your final, while Chavez had their biggest margin of victory in more than 2 decades. Titans dropping 61 on the Cougars, and speaking of blowouts, South was on the wrong end of one in Lemoore, getting blanked 54-0, while Foothill could only manage a field goal against Sierra Pacific. That's a look around the county from week 6 of the high school football season.
All right, Coach, week 6, still pretty early, but with a good body of evidence under each team. Who's impressed you the most so far?
I think right now A.J. Anderson has done a tremendous job, you know, and as we were teasing earlier, whenever you can be that effective running in that grass in Tehachapi, you know, it speaks volumes. But, you know, since we had him on the show a few weeks ago, he's just continued to get better, and obviously it shows with their offense and just overall with their team.
Absolutely. A.J. Anderson, former FFX Player of the Week, and we have plenty to see from him as we go forward this year. But we will take a break. We're going to come back with Coach's Corner. He's going to take you around the county.
FFX is proud to be fitted by Finos. When it comes to quality men's suits in Bakersfield, Finos menswear and tuxedo is all you need. Huddle up. It's time for Coach's Corner with Renegade head football coach R. Todd Littlejohn.
All right, well, it is time for Kern County's favorite segment here, Coach's Corner, and back to bring you the wisdom of a lifetime inside the lines, R. Todd Littlejohn. Coach, league play, always the best part of the high school season, right? But this year is especially intriguing. Powers that be over at CIF realigned the conferences, so we have some new kinks to look forward to. Let's jump right into it. Let's go ahead and get your picks for how these conferences are going to shake out. I know it's early in the season, but let's take a look at the largest league, the South Sequoia league. And we got Wasco, Chavez, Delano, Kennedy, Taft, Shafter, McFarland. Coach, who do you think is going to come out of this pack?
Wow, this is really tough because I know like Taft plays very well at home. You got Kennedy, who I loved last year, but Wasco, I think just the consistency with what they're doing, their ground game, right now I'm going to go with Wasco.
All right. South Yosemite Horizon League up next. We got some powerhouses: Arvin, Foothill, Golden Valley, Miramonte.
Wow, that's a tough one as well. Arvin seems to be coming along very slowly and doing some really good things. So I may give a nod to Arvin right now. All
right, the Arvin Bears coach's pick. And the new South Yosemite Mountain League, we got East, North, South, Tehachapi, or West?
Tehachapi, whenever you can play effective in that grass, they got some thick grass.
They do. I was up there the other week.
But they're able to run the ball very effectively, and right now I'm going to go with Tehachapi.
Tehachapi looking like a powerhouse to start the season. The South Yosemite Valley League, BHS, BCHS, Highland, Independence, Ridgeview. Coach, I think I know which way you're leaning for this one.
Yeah, I can never go against my drillers.
Yeah. And finally, the Power League, also known as the River League, maybe the biggest contenders here: Centennial, Liberty, Garces, Frontier, and Stockdale. We've seen some really strong teams out of this conference so far.
Absolutely, and Centennial, Frontier, those are two schools that are doing extremely well. I'm going to give the nod to Liberty just because they've been there, they've done that, and they understand what it takes down at the end of the year.
It's tough to argue with that, but more than any other league, I feel like that one is one that could maybe be wide open.
Absolutely, and I think it'll be fun to watch as well.
Well, that'll do it for Coach's Corner. Time now for your Renegade Report, and after costly turnovers did the Gades in against El Camino and Golden West, BC would look to avoid a third straight loss. Gades taking on powerhouse Mount Sac, and this is Mounties Ike Udengwu, the third on the quarterback keeper. And Coach Joseph Campbell looking good to start the season.
Looked really good early, and we put together a really, really good first half and very efficient with taking care of the ball, which was important. And just kind of ran into a couple snags here or there that we didn't finish the game.
I know that was one of your key points, were those turnovers. And bright spot in this one, you didn't commit any turnovers. Unfortunately, though, you also didn't win the game. The Mounties would take it, and you fall to 1-3 on the season. 28-10, your final from Memorial Stadium. But Coach, what are your takeaways here?
Well, as you mentioned, no turnovers there. We've got to avoid the 3-and-outs on offense. I know in the second half that was one of the things. We got to play 60 minutes. I didn't feel like we did that yesterday effectively. And as I mentioned, the tale of two halves, we were on point the first half, and the second half we just didn't finish the game.
Play 60 minutes. I think that
exactly
is the key right there. Well, that'll do it for Renegade Report, but stick around because it's time to break out your Sunday best. We'll introduce you to your FFX Play and Player of the Week coming up next.
FFX is proud to partner with Valley Sports Media. Follow at V Sports Media for exclusive football content throughout the season. It's trophy time. The FFX Awards, brought to you by Jerry's Pizza and Pub.
Welcome back, and it is time for our weekly FFX Awards. Now, Coach, always so many great plays here around the county, but I think it's time we finally honor maybe the most talented wideout we have in the county right now, Bryson Waterman. Of course, Waterman's no stranger to FFX Awards, right? But how about this play?
What a nice play right there. And I know Taylor and I, each week, we always look for that Who Got Mossed award, and this is a great play by him right here.
Fantastic elevation, you get the touchdown as well. Such an impressive play. So congratulations, Bryson Waterman. You are our FFX Play of the Week.
Your FFX Player of the Week is presented by Vertical Raise, the premier online fundraising platform.
Well, finally here on FFX, it's time to spotlight the player who made the biggest individual contribution to his team this week. And Coach, we like to say there are a handful of players who deserve this award every week, but this week, I don't know. Isaiah Juarez has a pretty strong candidacy. Isaiah, 200 yards on the ground and a score, 2 picks, 1 defensive touchdown. I mean, you filled up the stat sheet on both sides this week. How did that feel?
Thank you for having me on here, but it felt really good. Like, I wasn't shocked to myself, but I mean, once I got that first touchdown, I started to get a roll and everything, and I came back on defense, and to get that strip, it really helped us on both sides on the field, and we kept rolling after that.
Coming, obviously you guys had a great year last year. What was the thought process with yourself as well as the team going into this season?
We lost a lot of key factors. We had some miss key on our defense and offense because we lost a lot. And it was just whoever got the ball and whoever had to step up on the field.
So you guys are already in league play, but you're headed for a tough matchup. What can you tell me about going up against Kennedy next week?
It's not going to be easy. Both sides of the field. They have strong offense, strong defense, and we have it too. And I believe it's just going to be whoever wants it more in the end.
So I believe, obviously, as you mentioned, coming up this week, you got to be in some great shape because I'm sure your team will count on you and some of the other guys to be able to do things both ways. How do you feel going into this game individually?
It's going to be rocky. It's going to be a rocky start, but I think we can come up on top, but we just got to see how it plans out.
All right, Isaiah, thank you so much for joining us here in studio again. Isaiah Juarez from the Wasco Tigers is your FFX Player of the Week. Well, that'll do it for this 6th Sunday expanded edition of FFX. For more high school football coverage, of course, head to kget.com and click on that FFX icon. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you next Friday at 11:11.